Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 13. Da, na, na, na. Okay, so I've had this coaster set for a very long time, a couple years, 3 years, and it came with a set of 4 coasters. It has the teeth, vampire teeth or werewolf teeth, and it's time to get this one done. I'm only going to do this coaster here, but I'm going to do it in different background colors. I'm not coloring the insert areas. I will do that with paint after, or markers after it's cured. I'm only doing the one, like I said. I'm not doing the sugar skull. There's a plain one here, so I can do whatever I want to on that. And then there is like an Aztecan coaster mold. They're not the best molds, I will say that. They're very flimsy, and they do have some defects, so I'm not going to worry about it. But this coaster, I am not doing this one yet, the holder. I need to do one coaster first, because I'm only going to do 2, and then I'll do that with the next coaster. But today we're going to be using eye candy in Red Tide. And I already have this mixed. Well, it's not mixed. It's A and B both in there. So I do have to stir it and get that done. I have a stick for doing that, of course. No, I'm not wearing my gloves because I use my squeeze bottles and stuff, and everything gets put straight into the little pot to mix and all that. And I only do that for small jobs. But yeah, today our weather, we're not even going to break 60 degrees today. And we have an entire week in the low to high 50s. And, well, yeah, there's certain things I can do while the weather outside is cold and wet and everything. And certain things I can't, because humidity has a problem with, epoxy resin and things like that. And so I'm doing my best to keep my production low as far as epoxy resin goes. Now, because you have to stir until this is thoroughly mixed and my resin is cold, I have my heat mat on that I've got this sitting on. And so I'm going to go ahead and let it warm a little bit. I will stir the eye candy. I'll show you what that looks like when I go to stir it, but I'll be back when this is mixed. All right, I got this open. I never opened it yet. And so now I need to stir it. And this is such a beautiful color. Now, to help you get your resin paste stirred, it's a good idea to allow it to warm on your warming mat, your heat mat. It makes it thinner and easier to stir. You want to get all the way to the bottom. I always try to wipe it at the area that's the most messy, so that the mess is contained in one area as much as possible. Get up under that rim. Make sure it is thoroughly stirred. Just like you would for your epoxy resin. Now, there's a lot on this stick. However, I'm not going to use the stick in the epoxy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load this up a little bit. And bring this resin over here so I don't drip. And we're going to use this to load into the resin. And I want it as opaque as possible, so I'm going to load just a little bit more in. And then I'm just going to take this and wipe it off the stick. This really is such a beautiful color. All right. I should have enough of that off of there. But I'm going to scrape one more time on the side of the jar. Then if you don't want to sit and argue with your jar for like 1,000 years to get it open the next time, once you have your cleaning stick or your stir stick done, just take and wipe both I hate the waste, I do. Look at that, stuck my finger right on there. Backed my hand right up onto it. Now because this is a liquid and it's part epoxy, I'm not sure if they used A or B in this. We only use so much of this, and I do wipe the rim. That way I'm not fighting with the lid later on. Now the next time I open this, I shouldn't have as big a problem because it will have already had all these things done. All right. Let me put this back away. And we'll be beginning to get this stirred in. All right, let's get it all the way in there. My resin's nice and warm now, so it's thinning. Beautiful red. Okay, it looks like it's stirred in there pretty well. So I'm just going to make sure of it now. Now because I want extra red, I am going to add, I found a kit that I had purchased from Marabou, and even though I had problems getting a ruby red, singularly, the ruby red was included in that kit. So we're going to give a couple shots of this into the red there. Tap that bubble down. No volcanoes for me today. Grab my little opener. Get it placed on top there. And then, of course, this is where you cover. Oops. Let's get this out of the way, though. Get that placed back on top there. Cover all the way down. Push until it pops down in there. I might have actually got it through. Nope, that's just the cap. I was going to say that's the ugliest red I've ever seen. Okay, let's do this a little bit thicker then. Maybe I should use my right hand. Oh, come on. What is with this? Well, I think that bent inside, actually. Let me put it over to the side here. There we go, I got it. I actually kind of bent that a little bit. So let's cap this one more time. Give it another shake. Make sure it's all mixed nicely in there. Tap it back down because it's always going to volcano if you don't. Volcano or spit, whichever. There we go. 5 drops. Okay. Wipe the stick. And I do allow these to cure onto here because it helps to keep bubbles away the next time around. Okay, let me grab a little tool here, make sure that there's no there's residue. Okay, so grab some alcohol and spritz that to clean it all the way off. All right, this tool I'm going to be using to get down in these little cracks and crevices to pull bubbles out. So I'm going to spread out some of this first. And we're just going to kind of rub it down in there. Okay, let's get some more in. I'm hoping I have enough to get it to dome. Watch for any bubbles so that you know if there's a problem area. Check and make sure it's as level as it can be. And then let's try for the doming. It looks like I made pretty much just enough. And I made 60 mil. Let's go around one more time. And now we can put this aside for a moment. Go ahead and grab the stick one more time. I want this to be as perfect and bubble-free as possible. Because yes, I intend on making another mold so that I can do several of these particular coasters at once. And pretty much every mold you see comes from Temu in all my videos. All right, we are absolutely perfect on this. Let's just hope it comes out perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to let y'all go. When this is done and ready to unmold, I'll bring you back. All right, we're back. Now, I wanted to get ahead of the game a little bit because of the time it takes for everything to cure or to at least get solid and such. And so what I did was I already got this one unmolded. Now we get to unmold this one. And then I have to make up some white to put into here. I did put red into the teeth because I do want that blood look for the teeth. Vampiro teeth and all, you know. So hopefully you can see me unmolding this. I don't know about where my camera's at right now. Oh, now the first coaster did have some itty bitty little holes. And so I'm going to check this one thoroughly. Okay, there's a hole in this bone. There's a hole in the web right there. But it looks like everything else came out pretty well. Oh, okay, there's a hole in the bone right here. Now, I'm not going to worry about that for making the new molds because, you know, give it some pizzazz, who knows. Anyway, so the coaster is done. I will embellish it later, but right now I want to get some resin mixed up. So I'm going to have that there. I'm not sure how much. This is an 8-ounce cup, and it looks a little too small to fill that. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do this kind of twice. So we'll see what happens with the full 8 ounces when it goes in there. I'm going to go ahead and use the Nasubi white resin again. So I'm going to pour the bee into 4 ounces. Mark. Do not always trust the markings on these cups. I've worked with this particular brand of cup for a while. And yes, I should be putting my gloves on. And I know its quirks. Almost to the floor. Almost. And there. Always wipe the rim so that you're not dripping any of it. And no matter how careful you are, sometimes if you're not wearing gloves, you can get this stuff on you. Okay, we're going to use my little electric mixer again. But I'll use one of the sticks to do the, making sure it's all mixed. Okay, up to the 8 now. Sorry, concentrating. I had to look up because I wasn't too sure I hit the record button. So far, I am liking the white Nasubi, like I like the black Nasubi. Almost there. And we're there. Okay, let's wipe that one drip. Get rid of that. Get closed up here. Now I'll pause you while I go ahead and stir this up. All right, I went ahead and ran it through my debubbler because it was really cold and holding on to bubbles. I don't know if you can see that along the sides, but yeah, it had quite a bit of bubbles in there. So I'm going to find out what that black thing is floating there. Okay, got rid of that. And now we're just going to go ahead and pour it in. I'll let it go in slowly. Hopefully not catch a ton of bubbles. I am hoping this gives some really good effects. And I wish there was a way to fill only the teeth. But the teeth go high up. Well, actually, it looks like I'd be able to, but too late. I already made up a lot. All right, that's all of that cup. And since I divided this up, I should be able to tell how close I am. Looks like I'm going to have a little extra. But as far as ounces go, it looks like I put just about 3 ounces in the second cup. And I don't think it's going to take all 3 of those ounces. Although it might. All right, I got to go sideways here to make sure I'm not going to overflow. I think I'm there. I'm not sure, but I think so. So I have about slightly less than 1 ounce left. So about 7.5 ounces to be on the safe side fills this. Now I got to find another mold to put that in. I don't know, it worked out so well with the last crow. Let's put it in this crow. I'm sure I have well more than enough. Okay. Let that flow where it's going to flow. I should turn on my other light, but Then I got to reach across everything. We'll go ahead and let it flow into every little place it wants to right now. Okay, I have other molds set aside. So, okay, there's very little left. So I'm going to set that there. And I'm going to pull out this one. Now, this one here has got to be trimmed too. It's pretty pronounced on the, yeah. This one's definitely going to be a leftover style mold. I'll go ahead and scrape out what I can to finish filling. Well, we may actually have gotten all of this mold. I don't think so, honest, I don't. I mean, our biggest problem with these type of molds with all that excess underneath it is they sink in the middle. All right. I'm going to call it good with this one. And it's probably going to have holes everywhere. I'm going to try to minimize as many as I can by getting down in there a little bit. Okay. That's all there is to this until I come back when this is able to be unmolded. So let me do something with these cups. And I'll go ahead and wipe the stick. And again, I will set it to cure right along with everything else, like I normally do. And then I will cover this up, and I'll be back soon. All right, everyone. These are done. They're still hot-ish. This one ran over just a little bit, but now this was perfectly fine about an hour ago. And when I came back, that's what I find. There's a hole here, but it's because the resin ended up coming over this way. And my table is fully level, so I don't know. But it's infuriating is what it is. Now, I expected bubbles to come up with this, and it did. There's bubbles here and here. Right there's one, and then there's 3 here. So let's go ahead and pull it out of the mold. See how bad it is on the other side. Maybe too soft still. It doesn't feel soft, but the sides are, where it's thinner. But maybe we can get this all out of here without it breaking off of there. I am hoping. Okay, we did lose a piece right there. But the rest seems to be coming out. Still softish. I was kind of hoping to have it a little softish and be able to get it out easier. Okay, and then there's some little pieces up in here. So I'll have to dig those out. We'll do that another time. Okay, here's the crow again, and there are some bubbles, of course. Some of the resin did get into this and in here. Couple bubbles right here, actually. Bubble here, one here. Okay, let's go ahead and peel this free. I don't think this is going to come out as good as what the other one had, because that black backing really worked for that whole thing. Okay, let's see the crow. Okay, got to cut a lot of this off, but it's got a little bit of green still because of the overflow, but that won't be there when it's cut off. Didn't do so good in the eyes this time, but it's still usable. All right, now for the main course. Let's go ahead and pull this off of here. Let it start cooling. I'm just hoping the teeth didn't get any bubbles. The fangs are going to be a little bit of an issue, I think, trying to get this out. Okay, got that one freed up. Trying to get this done so I can get it edited and get it put up for you, because I have a doctor's appointment very early in the morning, and so I have to get up early and take a shower and all those good little things. Well, this side doesn't want to pop out. Come on. You can do it. Aha, here we go. Oh, we're getting there. Come on. There we go. Yay. Are we ready? I'm going to fill this in, I think, with some UV resin. Covered in everything. It still has hairs in it. Pets, you know. Oh, that's cool. And of course, you'd have to fill it up to get it to sit right, or you put it like this. But either way, it doesn't set too properly unless it's full. So, pretty sure it sits like that, not like this. But that's pretty cool. All right, now I wanted to show you what I was going to do with the coasters. I'm only going to show you with one. And I'm going to find the worst one, and it looks like, oops, I got the hiccups. Looks like this one's the worst one. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paint. I'm going to take this and get this opened up by my little, there it is, this thing. I'm going to take a little bit out of there, like this, and I'm just going to squish it down in there. I want it down inside. I don't want it on top. And I'll show you what I'll be doing to get that off the top. Although it looks like it's just really wanting to cover the tops, isn't it? Okay, let me get that down in there a little bit better. Yeah, it just wants to cover the tops. That's not nice. Get down in there. Well, let's wipe it off and try again. And do it to where it just sits on top, I suppose. Go quickly. Okay, let me get some water. Not as easy as it looks, folks. Maybe I should just done a wash instead. That might have done better. Okay, and my garbage can still hasn't made it back over this way. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to do this. Because I don't want it to solidify yet. Wow. Huh. Okay, let's try one more time. Get those big puddles of black. Had it rocking on something. It was starting to drive me nuts. Okay. I think that's as close as I'm going to get it to clean. It's not really clean. So what I'm going to do is grab my paintbrush. I know it's here somewhere. I know it is. Oh, well, we'll just, nope, can't use that. Don't understand where my other paintbrush is. The little one won't work. Oh, well, we'll just use this one. One of the crappier ones, I guess. Let's go ahead, grab one of these. We're going to put some water in here. I'm going to grab some paint onto the brush. I'll grab a little bit more paint. And then we're just going to wash it down in there. Go as well as I can. Apply light pressure on top. And maybe enough will stay down in the cracks and crevices to make a difference. Maybe a little bit extra paint in there. Okay, let's try some more. I'm only going to do this with the one because the other one's going to have a mold made from it. All right. kind of right that there. We're going to pick this thing up, grab it from the side, tap that out, press down a little bit more. And, well, at least it gave more definition. I will work on these after I get the rest of the coasters done. But, so for now, that's it for tonight. And we will see what the 14th has in store. Because I think I've got an idea of what I want to do, because somebody kind of mentioned something when they saw my Temu haul, one of them. And basically, I'm going to get it done for her. Like I said, if you see something in my Temu hauls that I haven't done yet, say something. You know, tell me which one, which haul, which mold, and we will see about getting that done for you. Oops. Anyway, so while I do all my cleanup, I'm going to let y'all go, and I'm going to go try to get a little bit of sleep after editing. It's 11 o'clock right now, so I'm going to work real quick at the editing and get this up for hopefully the normal time of 1 a.m. All right. Love y'all. Peace out. Oh, and hi to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, we will have a live on Halloween. I will have 2. That way, people from different parts of the globe can join in to either one. Okay. Yes, love you. Peace out.